Good to see everybody. Kwei, Simon Brakape, and uh, I'd like to start by acknowledging all the traditional territories that we are all seated on, uh, and remember the Indigenous peoples who lived on and cared for the land since time immemorial. And we honor our ancestors and their connection to the land, waters, air, and communities. We recognize the contributions and stewardship of all Indigenous peoples, past, present, and future, and their commitment to building respectful relationships and supporting the journey towards reconciliation. So, welcome to our Brunch and Learn session with the Martin Family Initiative. And I'm delighted to introduce Griffin Marsh, who will talk about MFI resources for schools, staff, and students. MFI was founded in 2008, for those of you that don't know, by the Right Honorable Paul Martin and his family, with a mission to strengthen the well-being of First Nations, Inuit, and Métis children and youth across Canada. So today, Griffin is excited as well as myself. He will be sharing details about their economic well-being initiative for the Indigenous Youth Entrepreneurship Program for grade 11 and 12 students. And the program is designed to nurture entrepreneurial skills and prepare Indigenous youth for success, not only in schools, but the workplace and beyond. And so it's my pleasure to introduce Griffin Marsh. He's the Economic Wellbeing Program Director with MFI. So over to you, Griffin.
Thank you, Simon. And it's a pleasure to be here for this breakfast and learn, brunch and learn, wherever you may be. I am calling in from Vancouver, the traditional territory of the Musqueam, Tsleil-Waututh, Squamish people, and it's a privilege to speak to all of you. I know you all, I imagine, have incredibly busy schedules, so I just have to start with a thank you to Simon and to PHINIA as an organization. We're as MFI, just I think in the early stages of continuing to formalize work between PHINIA and MFI, and I'm very excited about where that work will go, and the work that you all lead within your schools as administrators is vital to the success of anything that MFI can bring forward. So just thank you for taking the time. I'm going to share my screen to just walk through a bit of a presentation on MFI and specifically the economic well-being initiatives that were mentioned. And then I hope to leave a lot of time at the end for questions. So please, and also feel free to stop me while I go along if you have a specific question that comes up. The MFI is, as was mentioned, founded in 2008 by former Prime Minister Paul Martin. It is now spread across three arms, I would describe as. There's the family well-being, educational well-being, and economic well-being. Today's presentation will primarily focus on economic well-being, but I did want to highlight the three kind of spaces just so you're aware of MFI's mandate overall. Overall, the focus is around Indigenous youth education, starting at frankly, before Indigenous youth are born, which is the Family Wellbeing Initiative, early childhood education, family development, through what is called the Early Years Program. And that currently operates in a number of First Nations, Inuit and Métis communities across Canada, developing parental supports, programming for young Indigenous children as they start out. That moves into the educational well-being initiatives, which is primarily focused around reading literacy in early elementary school and professional development for principals and teachers in that same realm, with both hands-on coaching for students and support for teachers, as mentioned. And then the economic well-being initiatives are partnerships between First Nation, Inuit, and Métis-led schools, as well as provincial schools, to provide entrepreneurship, financial literacy, and business course resources and training and support for those to be offered within schools. And they are specific to Indigenous entrepreneurship and specific to the story of Indigenous. Within that, just a little bit of background, the original MFI entrepreneurship program, the Indigenous Youth Entrepreneurship Program, was piloted in 2007 in Dennis Franklin in Thunder Bay on the call, but that's the high school run by the Northern First Nations north of Thunder Bay and within Treaty 9. And it is still run in that school to this day. It's been running for over 14 years there, and since then has been offered in 90 schools, both Indigenous led and provincial led across the country, to support over 5,000 students. We are in about 30. The IEP program specifically, the high school program, is in about 30 classrooms, and additionally the elementary program, which I'll get into in a second, is also in about 30 schools across the country, and supports a wide number of students, and is having a lot of success. And I'm excited about the opportunity to grow, which is the main reason that I wanted to speak to all of you today. So the four programs that make up MFI's entrepreneurship or economic well-being initiatives are as follows. So the first two on the left-hand side of your screen, Introduction to Financial Literacy and Introduction to Entrepreneurship, are what we call our elementary program. That is targeted toward or is written for a grade 6 to 9 reading level or literacy level, and each of those programs is about 40 hours in length. Those courses have been, or resources have been offered in math classes, English classes, socials classes, in a variety of settings across the country, and there's a lot of flexibility for that resource to slot into different settings. The elementary program was designed in 2021 with a advisory council of Indigenous business leaders and curriculum writers, and Carolyn, who's on this call, is our lead from my team in both developing that course and then expanding it across the country. And one of the most exciting parts to me is that it's in, I believe, over 10 schools in Nunavut right now, supporting over 800 students, especially around financial literacy for schools across remote parts of Nunavut, and is having a lot of real success there, which as well as a number of other provinces and territories. So I'm very excited about that program as the kind of starting place. The Indigenous Entrepreneurship course, the second one from the right on your screen, is an adult education course. It is 60 hours in length, and has been offered in a number of different settings outside of formal high school or middle context. Partnered with band councils to course within band leadership. It's been offered in friendship centers in different urban settings across Canada. It's currently offered in a couple of skills and training spaces, Aboriginal skill and training places across the country, and also in corrections facilities, Corcan facilities in different parts of Canada to support Indigenous inmates as they think about their next steps in life, and any skill development that comes with that. Then the last one is the Indigenous Youth Entrepreneurship Program, IEP, which is reflected by the Entrepreneurship 11 book that you see a picture of on your screen. That's the main one I wanted to talk about today, but I would be happy to answer questions on all three programs that I've walked through. But there's a specific reason that I'll get to of why IEP is top of mind to a lot of our team. But all three, I think, programs can have an impact in different ways and can be flexibly introduced. So I'll dive into specifics of the high school course now. Senior level course, 100 hours from our understanding to most semester course loads for a school to implement. We have some schools who offer it as a full year course, some who offer it offer it in fall or winter semester, some who offer grade 11 in fall, and the grade 12 flexibility from a school's perspective on how that is introduced. I should have said off the top that MFI themselves, we are not the direct programmer or the resource provider. We are partners with you as a school, or with just like overall to deliver the course and to make it as accessible as possible. That is that the elementary, all three of them have a teacher's resource book that supports a teacher in unit by unit, module by module development, and also a student workbook that provides activity space for writing, whatever that might be as each of the units is progressed. And we find that both with the support that MFI can provide to your teachers, but also that teacher's resource makes this much more accessible, and that you don't need a vast business education or a vast entrepreneurship education to be able to teach it at all. And that's our hope in kind of continuing to break down barriers for students who are interested in this type of education. The course themselves are meant to be hands-on, developing the kind of the intricate skills of obviously developing a business plan, a SWOT analysis, etc. But also, I think the course really comes to life as it is integrated with both the stories of Indigenous entrepreneurs and business people across the country, but also local to your community or local to where the course is being offered, and having field trip opportunities, bringing in guest speakers, show the opportunity of what the skills and the development within the course can really mean in your life and your career path, which I think to the local community as possible. This is just a little kind of some screenshots of the text there. Obviously, I'm happy after this conversation to share any PDFs of the resources for people to look at. We can ship copies of them to look at the physical books themselves, because I think that's really important in thinking about it. But just wanted to give you a sense of what page by page may look like. This is the teacher's resource, for example. And then I do want to highlight some of the supplemental resources that augment the course. So we have developed specific industry-specific add-ons that dive into further depths of types of tourism, food services, advanced manufacturing, and engineering, specific industries that either certain can be interested in. We would always be keen to partner with either community examples of how these specific considerations they need to be thinking about if they're interested in entering or developing business within these spaces. And similarly, we have a comprehensive kind of case study supplement that provides a lot of profiles of Indigenous entrepreneurs to, again, pull from examples and hopefully find inspiration from. All of that to say is we have an opportunity in front of us that we're in a process of significant with First Nation, Inuit, and Métis schools across the country, as well as Indigenous-led institutions, in partnership with AFOA Canada, which for folks who are known as the Aboriginal Financial Officers Association. Of the IEP program and for all of our programs for the upcoming school year. And specifically what that means in terms of what that partnership with MFI and a school and MFI AFOA in the school would be direct funding support, teacher salary, but meant to be about 20. Any teachers teach about 4 courses in a full course load, and the 25% would cover the time allocated towards teaching of IEP within that current setting. Something we heard from a lot of community schools, especially as they've considered offering this course, is you guys are making very difficult decisions on small budgets in many cases, and allocating teacher time, teacher capacity, and course requirements mean that those are some difficult decisions. And our hope with funding for teacher salaries that can make that a little bit easier of a prioritization. All of the course resources that I've walked through are obviously provided no additional cost to the school. As you identify the number of students who'd be interested in taking course, we will ship you the number of workbooks needed, as well as the teacher resources to support the lead teacher who you would identify or you may identify. There would be additional funding for classroom activities, classroom consumables, and even startup grants. It's typically a lump sum of money that some schools have used to start pop-up coffee shops and thrift stores within their schools, or specific students have used to launch early stages of their businesses, or maybe it can go towards field trips and other activity consumables that might be necessary, but that's additional funding that MFI and AFOA would provide. And then the big piece from MFI's partnership perspective is that we provide initial training. It's about 3 hours in length, can either be done in person or virtually with the teacher and ideally an administrator to show you how to best take these resources and teach them, but also opportunities of where the teacher can take it further in a community setting, from a cultural perspective, from an academic perspective, in the setting that you know best and better than we know. But as well, we provide an ongoing coordination and support role. Each school that is identified or that is interested in offering the program has a direct coordinator or coach related to from within MFI. That support can look as simple as a monthly check-in on how things are going, how the progress of the course is going, how many students are attending, how are field trips going? Are you bringing in outside speakers? Or it can be more in depth. It can be visits to the classroom to support the professional development of the teacher. We're hoping to continue to develop professional development opportunities. We have a number of teachers who have taught this course for a long time, and having them be able to share best practices, ideas, stories of how to teach the course and what they've learned through their time of teaching the course are stories that we hope to share more formally with new and teachers who have taught the IEP program for less time. And so that ongoing piece would be something that MFI provides through the semester or through the year, depending on how you'd like to implement it. So the reason I'm coming to you today is that this funding is for the upcoming school year. I would love for this funding to extend to many years beyond, and I think we all can know how Indigenous Services Canada funds programs, and it's not the way we'd love it to be. And we will be using, hopefully, the success of this expansion to continue to advocate for further funding that can go to schools to offer this type of education if it's having the success we think it already has been having, but also can continue to have, and schools are aligned with us in that thinking. But the urgency of my conversations is we would love to ensure that this funding gets into schools' hands for this upcoming school year, whether that be the fall semester or that could be the winter semester. There's no expectation that needs to all start in September, but I know many of you in different ways are in the process or already finished your allocations, your teacher allocations, your class allocations, and decision making. So I put this forward as something that we're very excited about. I think there's an amazing opportunity for this course to not just talk about business and entrepreneurial skills, but to be a pathway to support students in thinking about their career pathways, whatever they might be, whether that be post-secondary, whether that be developing their own business, whether that be in community or out of community. The IEP program, from our reflections and from the surveys and responses that we get from students and teachers who have taken it, is a chance to develop skill sets, whether they be public speaking, self-confidence, seeing something from start to finish, etc., that will be life skills for students no matter where they go. And then hopefully from there, we can be a partner in supporting your community and in facilitating those pathways that students may go on to take. So I'm really, again, just want to say thank you for you all taking the time. I'm here to take any questions. And my email, I think, has been provided by Simon, but I have it up here as well. And I would love to have separate conversations to share material and to talk in more depth. Something I'm realizing I'd never covered is that from a technical perspective, the courses themselves all meet the provincial learning outcomes for all the provinces and territories across Canada. The course has been offered. It's not currently offered in BC, but has been offered in a few schools in British Columbia. It's currently offered in Alberta. It's currently offered in Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario, the Cree School Board in Quebec, and in a handful of schools in Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. So there is a national spread to it. And if you want to speak about the specifics of the learning outcomes and course requirements within your provincial or territorial setting, that's something our team is happy to discuss. So you have the specifics of how this resource or this course and curriculum can align with both the pathways of your students, but also the technical things that you need to align it with. I will end sharing my screen, and I'm happy. I would welcome any.
So thank you, Griffin. So people could just do it electronically. I'll show you how I did it. My little brown hand goes up, and you can ask a question directly, or you could use, if you're bashful, the chat. Pose a question. So Griffin, I know you've run these programs for quite a few years, and it has been successful. And the curriculum is designed for culturally appropriate entrepreneurship initiatives. Yeah. So we've got Michael Isaac.
Yes, I'm sorry. I was a little late. I was having difficulty getting on the line for one reason or another. My question is, and you might have talked about that earlier, one, we don't have a high school in our community, but we have a feeder school that our students go to in another province. I'm glad to hear that the program is actually up and running in New Brunswick. I was involved in the launching of the program in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia many years back. It was well received. A lot of things going on there. If it's not so much of a question, more of an ask, can you send me the copy of your PowerPoint? Because I do have a manager who deals with our students in our feeder school and high school, and I want to be able to see how that would fit for them. And the other question I have is, what kind of conversations do you have with the administrators of a school where I have no control over in relation to, the programming that Paul Martin family is offering. And, I know it's accredited, but I think there needs to be that conversation and dialogue with the school district and the principal of our feeder school to work out a plan to have this particular course offered to our students.
Absolutely. And I'm happy to share, maybe I can share through Simon when we share the link of the video. I'll put the PowerPoint presentation attached to that if that works for you, Simon, so that everyone can see it. To your point, we will have conversations with anyone, for principals or any school districts. We've at this point grown based off of, I would say, interests, where people have put their hand up and said that they've heard about it, maybe through word of mouth, through specific program development, maybe through other MFI programs, and they've been drawn to it and wanted to offer it. What we're in a position now to do through the growth of our team and the growth of the organization is to be more thoughtful about how we want to do that engagement. So I would say if there are opportunities within, especially what it sounds like to be that provincial, we would be happy to have that conversation to figure out how it ties in, how the community is a part of its implementation within the school, and how we ensure that students are aware of it too, which can sometimes be a barrier. So I will say we're still in a small nonprofit, and so we don't have unlimited capacity to talk to everyone. But if there are conversations we need to be a part of and want it, or that you feel need to be prioritized, 1000%, those are ones we want to prioritize, and we will be there, whether that be in person or virtually. I think those are the decision makers. They're the ones who know the sequencing and how they design it in their school. So and that's not where we're not trying to impose. We're trying to meet a moment where it can be. So however we can be a part of that, we would be keen to be.
Yeah, I think that dialogue needs to happen because I've been in this role and position is trying to influence them to incorporate our Indigenous knowledge within the respective subjects that they're teaching in the sciences, arts, and math.
Yeah.
And yes, they do have it in their Education Act that there should be ways of knowing, but no real direct, indicators for teachers that you should be. It's just more of a mention. And then, unions are involved, I don't have to teach this because it's not part of the curriculum and so on and so forth, that sort of thing. So, I mean, we need to have a conversation with them to demonstrate the benefits of this program. Not only for our Indigenous students, I'm assuming that other students can partake in the program also. Absolutely. And I think that also helps bridge the gap, if there is one, and I know there's one there, to have people working together in relation to understanding this particular program. But anyway, if you're up to it, I can, through your email, send out an invite and check with my manager and see how quickly we can get a meeting together to try to have this, if not the fall, maybe in the winter semester, and move forward on it. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, and I look forward to that email. And I think I should have said that it is not a program that discriminates who takes it. That's not our decision to make. It is written for a perspective of Indigenous entrepreneurs, but I think to your point, it has been and can continue to be a tool of reconciliation for non-Indigenous students to learn about the barriers faced by Indigenous entrepreneurs and Indigenous people entering their careers, and also to inspire, because I think that's the sense of hope that comes from the course and from learning from those case studies and the stories and from the guest speakers is lessons that I feel stronger and better about learning just as much as I think students do. So it is not confined in one way, and I think can be a tool of bringing those conversations together, like you say.
So thank
Randy,
you, Michael.
Yes.
Thanks. Before we go over to Randy, I think, Claire, did you want to say anything about the PowerPoint?
Sure, yeah. Well, we'll send out a copy of this video, the PowerPoint, any other materials, as well as Griffin's contact, so that you can all connect with him afterwards and get the ball rolling on some of this stuff.
Yeah.
So you'll have it within the day.
Perfect. Thank you. Randy?
Ever efficient, Claire. Thank you so much. Yeah, my question, Griffin, concerned the situation here in BC. Recently, the First Nations Education Steering Committee has notified us that the First Nation education councils in each of the school districts are supposed to be driving a much more than just signing off on the way funds are expended. They're actually supposed to be driving more of the program. So I'm wondering, first of all, do you have contact to reach out to the First Nations education councils in like specifically in our area, it's school districts 27 and 28 that supervise nation students that age out of schools that are out in our communities out west. I'm just wondering if we could put you in contact with the Indigenous Services principal here, and if you would welcome that sort of a contact, just to sort of, what I'm thinking is to meet with the First Nations Education Council and have them drive an initiative within the school district to see these courses taught. And what I was first thinking was how exciting. I know the principal out in one of the areas, not on a reserve area, but dealing with a lot of reserve students, and they are recently completing, or this June, they will complete their grade 11 program. They're planning to expand to grade 12 next year. Admittedly with a small number of students, but I think this would be the sort of program that would really meet their needs well. And in addition, in our offices at the Tsilhqot'in National Government, we have just hired someone whose specialty is youth entrepreneurship. I think he would be very excited to be put in contact with you. So I'm just wanting to get a sense of your reaction to the possibility of maybe traveling up in this area, meeting with people, and getting something started in the generally Williams Lake area surrounding region.
100%. So you might be referring to Dominic, I think.
Yes, Dominic.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
So we have been connected, and I've shared some of the resources, and so he's considering on their side. On the district side, I would love to be connected in. We have some provincial level relationships. I'm working on setting up a time with the steering committee in BC to have a conversation how we best fit into that place and not impose in how they're designing those structures. So I want to be as respectful of that as possible, but I would happily travel or participate in those meetings that you think are the right voices to have it with, because it changes province by province. And I think for our team, managing the right players in the right spot who are the right decision makers can sometimes be a complex task, but you would know best, and you know the right people to be speaking to. And our team will be there to share however we can, and to be flexible and creative in finding the ways for it to be implemented. And then separate, I think within TNG, finding a way for the programs for Dominic's team Dominic to think about how it can be incorporated, because yes, it's offered in a classroom setting. I think it has a huge potential to be offered in other environments, whether it be summer. It's been offered in summer camps, in some cases been offered in weekend opportunities. If it's not a formal grade 11 or grade 12 class, that's fine. Like, let's think about other ways that meet your membership's needs, meet the academic needs of your school in the best way. And we want to be flexible in how the resource can be a launching point, not a end point of that conversation. And that's what I'm excited about with Dominic. I think he has a lot of ideas. So, but yes, Randy, if you want email chain. And I do want to acknowledge, I see Veronica's email message in the chat. So, and asking for the resources too, and I'll ensure that that's followed up on. So thank you for your note.
Any other questions? Don't be bashful, unless Griffin did such a great job. All the questions have been answered. It sounds like there's a lot of technical aspects to this that need to be addressed to actually get it delivered, Michael made some good points on, in the policies or in the curriculum, they're saying ways of knowing, but then ways of knowing don't get delivered in the classroom. So any other, don't be bashful.
I must have done an okay job then.
I was just wondering, Sam,
Uh,
did you have any
I've-
question?
Sorry, Simon, if I could. Hello, my name is Marie Adam. I've twice tried to put my hand up. I don't know why. It's just not, it's not wanting to stay up. Like, hello, hello. So my name is Marie Adam, and I'm from Saskatchewan, Red Pheasant Cree Nation Director of Education. And question that I have is very interested in the curriculum for sure. We only go to grade 8 on reserve. In the last couple of years, we've started a bridging program and adult 12 on the reserve because a number of our people just haven't been successful in busing off for their high school education. And one of the requests has been that this year I offer an entrepreneurship class for the adults, those who have already even completed their adult 12 now, which we have like 15 first-time graduates the last 2 years that we've had a adult 12. This Saturday, actually, we're having a graduation of all of our graduates, and we have 43 graduates from adult 12 right through certificates, diplomas, degrees, and masters, with a lawyer finishing this year too. So very proud of our people, the ones who, you know, have been going on to further education and those who are interested. So we have our treaty day on Monday, and I'm putting up a booth. And one of the things I was going to do is we have a SIT. I don't know if you're familiar with them, Saskatchewan Indian Institute of Technologies. They do an entrepreneurship, but they don't come out onto your nation to do it. And we didn't really want to be sending people in. And a lot of our people don't like to leave the community. So I had said, well, I'll look into it because Saskatchewan curriculum does have an entrepreneurship course. But then I saw I don't know which, I got an email or something and came across this. I thought I'm going to join in and just to see what's happening. And this is 100% what I'd like to be doing. First off, for the grade 6, 7, 8, like our younger ones, they run a canteen right now, but I could really see us utilizing that curriculum. I haven't even looked at it yet, but I'm pretty sure if I give it to the teachers, they'd be utilizing that to figure out some of the things that the kids could be doing on the reserve, you know, in terms of trying to earn a bit of money for their field trips or whatever, right? And the entrepreneurship, I definitely would like to be implementing that in September, to the extent that we've had a lot of the interest that it might go twice over. I haven't been able to find something else yet, and I think that this may be what we're looking for. So I'm definitely interested in implementing what one of our adult 12 graduates from last year is a beater, and she's wanted to have her own business, doesn't know how to market herself. So I said, look, we're going to hire you this summer. You're going to pull together all the names of those who want to do small business, and we'll figure out something for the fall, is what I've said. And I've made a commitment to do that. But I didn't know what we were going to be exactly offering in the fall for them. So
Well, hopefully we have a solution for you then.
Pardon me?
That hopefully we sounds like.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting that lag and I can't hear. Sorry, Griffin, I didn't hear what you were saying because it's lagging. Have a
Very
bad
helpful.
connection. So thank you for this, and I'll be emailing you because it just like I'm getting cut in and out. I've got my Starlink obviously we have storms here right now, so I think I'm getting a bad connection.
So I noticed Griffin's turned off his video, so I don't know if that'll help. Can you? We could blame it on the sunspots disrupting the universe. He's going to pop back in.
Marie, can you
Yep.
type in, this is Carolyn Carlson talking. I'm also an MFI employee, but in the chat, could you type in your email? Please?
For sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have everybody's emails also.
Yeah.
But
You will have it
that
because
would
it
be helpful.
messaged me, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know what's going on here. I'll try to type it in there.
Yeah, just put it in chat. So Griffin, you may want to talk about, how you'll receive applications. I think you were flexible in your approach, and we also have a application, like a form for those who love forms.
Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me again?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And Maria, I couldn't get my words out. My connection also seemed to die, but we will happily chat about that. I think there's a couple of fits that could really help with what you presented. But from a next steps perspective, FINIA has helpfully put together a very basic application form that if you have the capacity to fill out, fantastic. It asks kind of some basic questions about the school setting, and your interest in the program. I will also, though, very plainly say, if you want to send me an email and say, Griffin, thank you for your presentation, we're excited about talking about next steps, that is a great starting place for us, and we can set up a formal conversation. We can set up a meeting. No issue whatsoever. And don't feel that you need to, if the application is a helpful tool for you to kind of express where your head is at on this, fantastic, but also feel free to just reach out directly. And we can start the next steps of that conversation. I think from our perspective, we would want to talk about how it would be implemented, and then we have an agreement, like kind of a relationship agreement that we put together with the school, that formalizes, what MFI, what AFOA will be providing, what we would need in return from kind of very basic reporting requirements. And then from there, we'd schedule training, we would start shipping material and get rolling as fast as possible. So we'll move at the pace that you have the ability to, and we're very excited.
So if any of you weren't onto the original list and you got this Brunch and Learn from somebody else, just put your email in the chat so that we can include you on the materials that we'll be sending out. Any other questions? If you're like me, I'm always sitting there. I have a question in my mind and I never ask it. But so don't be bashful like me.
And I should say, I spoke a lot about the high school course. I mentioned the elementary course, the grades 6 through 9. We're always happy to talk about opportunities for that to fit into your academic spaces. And similarly with the adult, the 60-hour adult education course, if there are homes for that where it makes sense, those are not by any means off topic. We want to talk about all of it and find ways that we can partner together, and where those courses can be taken in your setting and become something brand new and expand. So we hope to be as flexible as we can be. And I really am excited about some opportunities to work together.
So I'm just wondering if Carolyn has anything else to add. She jumped in when your
Yeah, I could hear her. I just you couldn't hear me.
Oh, okay. So Carolyn, any last minute things you want to point out?
It's a very exciting time for Martin Family Initiative to have the support to be able to offer IAP, as we call it, and to offer schools support. It's just wonderful. And I, of course, would like to put my plug in for the elementary programs, the introduction courses. I'm certainly willing to spend some time explaining these to anybody who's interested in this for grades 6 to 9. And my connection is terrible, so I'm just going to go back to the mute.
Okay, thank you. So any final questions? We'll keep people informed as we move forward. Griffin, you want final words?
No, just thank you to you, Simon. Thank you to FINIA for coordinating this, and frankly for all the work that you as a small team do to coordinate and support the development of all the schools across the country. It makes our job as a partner easier, and I'm thankful for our opportunities to continue to work together. And just thank you to all the folks who joined. I am excited about what, as Carolyn mentioned, the opportunity for MFI to grow, but I'm more excited about, I think, the opportunity for this program to support your students and inspire their, hopefully continue to inspire them to do incredible things in our country. And that's what brings me a lot of excitement day in, day out. And I know you probably all feel the same. So looking forward to further conversations.
Okay, so thank you very much. There was a couple of people that came on later, but just to wrap up, that we'll be sending out the end of the day or tomorrow morning the video, the PowerPoint, the application form, which you can use, or you could just email Griffin to say, you know, we're interested. How are we going to get started? And oh, we got Randy waving.
Sorry, that wasn't me waving. That was just me applauding. I've really
Oh.
appreciated this presentation and really look forward to making solid contact with MFI and anybody else out there that's interested in this sort of education and entrepreneurship. Thanks
Yeah.
very much.
That's really important. And I think statistically, Indigenous people are starting businesses at 5 times the rate of Canadians. So, you know, there's certainly an interest in all our communities to be starting up small businesses, family businesses, etc., or big businesses. Okay, well, have a good day. Thanks for sharing your brunch with us.